So it seems that Donald Trump just got screwed by the Supreme Court. We got to go over the details of this stuff, and let's just jump right in. This is the headline here. Supreme Court won't block Trump's sentencing in hush money case. And this also says justices deny President-elect's bid to avoid finalizing his felony conviction for covering up six-figure payment to an adult film star. And get your popcorn ready. I'm actually really curious what the sending is going to be. This is, put this in context, this has also been coming out today that Mike Lindell, that's the My Pillow dude, the crazy dude, I guess he's got to pay $778,000 for unpaid bills and legal costs to DHL. So basically just not paying his bills. He got interest, he got lawyer fees, etc. And you also have Rudy Giuliani. He's in contempt of court. I think he was pretending to be sick. Like, I couldn't come, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes to the inauguration or something like that. This particular one, I think, is $148 million for him. Now, what could Donald Trump get? So let's go through all this stuff. This says here, Washington, the Supreme Court refused to block President-elect Donald Trump's criminal sentencing for covering up hush money paid to adult film star Stormy Daniels, right? So we know this. Clearing the way for an unprecedented court proceeding Friday in New York. So I think that's tomorrow. It's going to be crazy. Wow, I'm really curious. A state jury found Trump guilty last May of 34 felonies, right? So we know that, for falsifying business records, part of a conspiracy that prosecutors said was intended to suppress damaging information before his victory in the November 2016 presidential election. So that was a while ago, 8 years ago. The trial judge, Justice Juan Mercan, indicated last week that in light of Trump's coming inauguration, a prison term was off the table. So no prison. So that is a little bit of bad news if you want to go to prison. So probably off the table. And an unconditional discharge or sentence with no punishment was, quote, the most viable solution. Okay. So I remember seeing this headline before, so I didn't really mention it because I was like, yeah, maybe Trump's not going to get any penalty or something like that. So that's why I'm kind of curious how the Supreme Court plays in. That's why we're reading this together to, we'll see. It says here, but Trump's team, even as it pursues legal appeals through the state court system, had sought to spare him the stigma of hearing and of being formally branded a felon. Okay. All right. So this is kind of a PR game, right? I like that. They wanted to spare him the stigma of the hearing and being formally branded a felon. No, we totally got to formally brand this guy a felon. I get your t-shirts ready, right? Days before he returned to the White House, his lawyers argued that even a sentence with no punishment would interfere with the presidential transition and undercut Trump's authority as president. I see. So they just don't want us to know that he's a felon, but I think it's better that we all know he's a felon. Wouldn't you agree? Also says here, this is a quote, I guess. A felony conviction results in significant collateral consequences for the defendant, regardless of whether a term of imprisonment is imposed. Well, dude, you committed crime. So, I mean, so the argument they're trying to make is, oh, if you publicly say I'm a felon and everyone knows that I'm a felon, then you're going to hurt my feelings and hurt all the MAGA feelings. That's kind of what they're saying. So, and that actually it's not in legal papers. Wow. Okay. They also include, it says here, they think, this is the Trump people, restrictions on liberty such as travel, reporting requirements, registration, probationary requirements, and others alongside public stigma felons carry. We've been talking before. There's like, the possibility that he can't go to certain countries because he's a felon. And I'm not, I mean, this whole thing is unprecedented. Like, we've never seen this kind of stuff before from a U.S. president. And, well, I mean, we'll see what else. Yeah, this whole argument, though, that, we don't want everyone to know he's a felon, so don't, make this public or keep it quiet or just dismiss it because he's president. That the argument of he's above the law is ridiculous, to be perfectly frank. No one should be above the law. Now, okay, I want to see what else it says. Okay, it says here, Manhattan prosecutors in response argued there was no basis for the Supreme Court to intervene. Okay. The proceedings had already been postponed 6 months at Trump's request, right? I knew about that. It was delayed. And the burden of Friday's sentencing was minimal because Trump didn't have to appear in person and was facing no substantive punishment. Okay. Trump's argument to cancel the sentencing hearing sprang directly from his claim that the conviction should be thrown out because of the Supreme Court's July decision in a separate case by special counsel Jack Smith. That decision derailed a federal criminal indictment of Trump for allegedly scheming to stop President Biden from taking power after the 2020 election. And he gave foreign presidents a broad degree of immunity from prosecution for official acts while in office. And actually, this part that we're going over here in the article, this is actually really, really important. Important in a bad way. The saying that any president that does something as an official act is and then how do we define official act, unofficial? That's going to be, I mean, that's going to be debated. But the idea, though, that you can never be charged with anything as long as you're doing an official act of presidency, it's just really a problem. I don't think anyone should be above the law, and this is not just Trump; it's just anyone. And that's we're having the same issues here in Korea right now, where we're trying to arrest the current president, and he's like, "No, you can't arrest me." But it's like, dude, you try to do illegal military action, so. This is where this I mean, we could have all sorts of stuff going on. So let's see what else. Let's see here. D. John Sawyer, who successfully argued Trump's 2024 Supreme Court case, led the legal team seeking to stop Friday's sentencings, right? So they don't want a public sentencing is what this is about. Trump has announced his intention to nominate Sawyer for Solicitor General, a senior Justice Department position that represents the government before the Supreme Court. Also says here, Smith, who sought to salvage elements of the case after the July decision, dropped the matter following Trump's November victory under Justice Department guidelines that prevent prosecution of a sitting president. Trump has sought to block the department from releasing Smith's report on investigation which special counsel submitted this week to Attorney General Merrick Garland. My understanding on that stuff, they have a bunch of info that will they release it to the public or not. I think that's still in the air, the last that I checked. So we'll see. I mean, we could have all this stuff breaking tomorrow, and it could be coordinated to where they release, hey, this is all the info we know on Trump. We wanted to, give him, throw the book at him, but we couldn't. But this is what we had on him. I'd like to see that, that kind of report. And also, too, the public sentencing. Yeah, we totally got to do it. Totally. Screw. Yeah, who cares about Trump's feelings? I mean, come on, this is the law here. Also says here, although the New York case originated in Trump's actions as a private citizen running for office, some of the evidence prosecutors introduced involved things he did after winning the 2016 election to consummate the deal with Daniels and respond to news reports regarding his alleged affairs with her and a one-time Playboy centerfold, Karen McDougal. So basically, if I remember the story correctly, it was a hush money case, and then Trump tried to bury any kind of stories that he was having affairs and whatever Trump is up to. We'll just say whatever, because I would not be shocked if there'll be more people that come out and say Trump did bad things, and it's, I mean, this has been a long history of him doing this stuff. So I mean, he always denies it, but oftentimes they'll literally have records. You just pay people to be quiet. So that doesn't seem like the actions of an innocent person to me. So these kind of, well, I mean, he's a felon, 34 counts. This is why the sentencing becomes, important. It's he for Trump, this is all a PR game, right? He's a TV personality, right? TV person. And so he cares very much about ratings and stuff like that. And, public sentencing, that gets high ratings, and we're going to be watching that stuff and basically dragging his name, all over the headlines, felon, 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 felon. I want to see that. Don't you want to see that? So that also says here, it says, Trump, who has denied Daniels and McDougal's claims, argued that material from his time in office shouldn't have been introduced under the rules the Supreme Court created in its July decision. So again, they're arguing whether or not that is an official act. And that's the argument, right? So like, is paying hush money to, whoever is that, quote, an official act of the presidency? I mean, I make jokes and we laugh about this stuff, but honestly, when you like let it sink in what we're talking about here, it's embarrassing, it's frustrating, it's angering. I'm just talking out loud that we're even having this conversation, that anyone even considered this guy to be a viable candidate, let alone now he's the president. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. And the people who support him, that they just go on this stuff like, oh, you guys, we just own the lib, we win the vote, and that's the only that's like, for them it's just all about their team winning. For me, I want America to win, and for America to win is like, let's not put felons in office. And he's so far out of bounds. It's crazy the world we live in. And I'm just sitting there reading through this crap. What else it says here? A merchant rejected Trump's arguments, finding his crimes involved his private doings rather than his official business as president. The Supreme Court's most recent action came days after Trump spoke by phone with Justice Samuel Alito. Oh, I didn't realize he was talking to them on the phone. Yeah, well, I mean, there's nothing stopping him from doing that. Who formed part of a 6-member majority that hamstrung Smith's case. So he's kind of, are you pressuring one of the judges here? Is that what's going on? It's interesting. The Tuesday phone call first reported by ABC News was instigated by William Levi, a former Alito law clerk, right? So there's a connection there. And served as Attorney General William Barr's chief of staff in the first Trump administration. Alito said in a statement to the network, "That's messed up." I'll just say that's messed up. These are supposed to be. It's supposed to be, separate bodies. You shouldn't have the president be calling the Supreme Court. That's messed up. I haven't been following this stuff that closely, but that's messed up. It says here, Levi is seeking a position in the forthcoming Trump administration. Of course he is, right? That's what this is all about. And requested Alito's personal recommendation to the president-elect. Alito said the justice said that he was unaware when he spoke to President-elect that Trump would ask for a court's intervention in the New York case. I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe that for a second. And that they didn't discuss the matter or anything pending previously before the Supreme Court. I don't believe in that stuff. I don't believe in that stuff. But that's why you read through the stuff, right? You want to see what they're saying. So I think they're going to send something off. If I understand this correctly, they wanted the Supreme Court to step in and block a sentencing. And so I'm very curious what this is going to end up being. So stay tuned tomorrow. We'll follow the story as it breaks. I just wanted to update too with you guys, because I know sometimes you need a little pick-me-up on the day. And it looks like the Supreme Court isn't necessarily a total pushover to Trump. But this is, hey, small victories, we'll take it when we can get it. So thanks again for watching, everyone, and I'll catch you on the next video.